Hi, and thanks for joining my channel Inspired by Cyndi. Now, if you've been sitting that little bit too much, then the next class is the one for you. It's 45 minutes with a warm-up focused on balance, and the entire class revolves around hips and core. So I suggest you grab your mat, roll it out, and I'll see you on the floor. Let's start by standing up, and we're going to start pedaling out the knees. So I need those heels up nice and high. I want you to flex your toes to a point of comfortable, but not too comfortable. Really exaggerate the hip movement here, sway it side by side. Make sure your spine is stacked, your shoulders are open, your chin is up, and you're drawing that belly button towards your spine. Now we're going to do single knee raises. Make sure your hips, knees, and ankles are stacked. Draw that belly button in, and you'll lift one knee at a time. Work on your balance here. Keep it nice and steady. Keep your feet flexed, and as your hands raise, your knees raise. So it's almost like a gravity pull. You'll alternate each leg, shifting your weight ever so slightly, left and right. And as you lift your knees, each time you do that, try to bring up your knee a little bit more. If you want to focus on your breathing, inhale as you rise, and exhale as you push that foot back down. You keep that going at a nice steady pace, and we will add on. On your next one, I want you to lift that knee up, single knee raise, to a point of comfort, and then push that foot away. Extend the arms at the same time. Bring it back in and lower that foot down. So the knee comes up as high as you feel comfortable. Push that foot away. Bring it back in and lower it. What you will find with repetition, that your knee will come up a little bit more and your hips will open up. They'll become a little bit more flexible. Now, if you find that you can't push it out completely in front like myself, it does not matter. The whole purpose is coordination here, holding your balance, engaging your core, and working at a slow, steady pace. Now, as you lift that knee up, bring it up a little bit further and push it out a little bit more. I promise you, with practice, this will just come as second nature. Let's shake it out. This time, we'll raise the knee, extend it out in front. Then instead of bringing it down to the ground, we push it behind into what we call an airplane warrior pose. Lower your chest, lift your foot up. That knee, the supporting leg, is soft. Let's try that again on the other side. So lift that knee up nice and high, push it away as you exhale. Bring that knee back in and push it behind. Squeeze the shoulder blades, neck's long. Hinge it forward, lift that leg back, and then start pointing your toes. Well done. Let's keep this going. It doesn't matter if you get a little bit shaky or you lose your balance. You may decide that you want to hold on to the wall or a chair or a table. Whatever gets you through this warm-up. Remember, it's the journey, not the destination. It's the in-between that you're going to get all the benefits from these exercises. Now lift that knee, extend it, push it away, keep that foot flexed, bring it back in, push it back. This is a difficult balance because generally you used to bring your arms forward. Instead, now we're doing a dive. Okay, shake that out. Excellent work. Engage the core, here we go. Bring that knee up, push it away. Now bring it back into the airplane warrior. Lift, 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 hinge forward. Instead of dropping it down on the ground, you bring that knee back up to the chest and then lower it. So we lift that knee, we push that in front. We bring the knee back in, we glide it back as we hinge forward. Point the toe, squeeze the shoulder blades, open up the chest. When you're ready, bring that knee back into the chest and lower it down to the ground. Excellent. Raise the knee. Push it out in front. Push it back. Hips as square as you lower. How low can you go? How long can you extend that leg? Bring that knee in and lower it to the ground. Let's go. Raise, glide it up. Push that foot away. Can we get a little bit higher? Can we get that knee a little bit closer to the chest? Can we push that foot further away as we hinge forward? Remember, keep that stable or supporting leg bent slightly, nice and soft. You're doing really well. Push it away with conviction. Bring it in with strength. Push it away with determination. As you lower, extend, lengthen, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, and bring that knee back into the chest and lower it down. Bring the knee up. Push it away. Should be a pro by now. Now remember, with this, your spine is stacked. Your neck is a continuation of your spine. So we also want to lengthen that. The more we point our toes, you'll find that you anchor a little bit more as well. Okay, let's shake that out. Let's tuck that chin in and give ourselves a little bit of a stretch. So to tuck the chin in, roll it down vertebrae by vertebrae, bone by bone, gliding your hand at the front of the leg, and just hang there for a little minute. And pull it up nice and slowly. Focus on every bone peeling down with you. Roll those shoulders forward, keep those knees soft. Feel the stretch in the back of the legs and the lower lumbar region. Walk your hands forward slightly, lengthen it out, and tuck it back in, bringing your head close as possible to your knee. And peel it back up. Roll those shoulders back, roll it forward, glide your hands down, come back up into a standing cat curl. So sway the back and then give me a nice big C curvature, sway it again. Nice big C curvature, that should feel really good after our balance sequence. And then roll down, pedal it out, lengthen the legs. On the floor, one leg back, followed by the other into a plank. Now make sure we're stacked here, so your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists are in alignment. Draw that belly button in. You're in a perfect diagonal, high on the heels. So now we're going to take it down into a downward dog. So you're going to push your hips up to the ceiling, push your heels down the ground, then bend your knees and push your weight forward. So it's a downward dog. Lower the knees into a hovering beast, then push it forward. Again, heels up high. Drop the knees. The knees do not touch the ground. They just hover above the mat. And again, let's warm up those shoulders. Let's start folding a little bit more. Bend those knees and push it away. This time, just bring it up to a downward dog, and we're just going to pedal it out a little bit. Bring those knees in, but focus on pushing your heels down onto the mat. Let's stretch out the Achilles. Some of us are flexible here, others aren't so, but we can work on it. Let's roll those hips out. Let's lengthen out the shoulders and roll them out as well. There's no rules here. Just get yourself settled. Now from here, we're in a downward dog position. I'm going to ask you to ripple forward into a full plank. And what that means is, vertebrae by vertebrae, you roll forward as opposed to just coming straight down into a plank. So we ripple forward into a plank and then push it back. Again, hips up nice and high, ripple forward, push it back. Get your hips up nice and high, keep your head between your shoulders. really extend that plank. That ripple should feel really nice. And then when you're ready, or when you've had enough, you can always go into a child's pose to recover. Push your armpits down to the ground, knees are out nice and wide. From here, we're going to take it into a cat curl, straight into a half plank. Sway you back and push it back. This is really nice. So bring your weight forward, like grip onto the ground. Nice big C curvature into a half plank. Sway it back and pull it back. Do it again. You'll start feeling your hips getting a little bit looser. You'll find a little bit more lengthening in the spine. Your shoulders are warm and your hips are definitely opening up. Now I'd like you to go into a quadraped position, so on all fours. Everything stacked, hips stacked on top of knees and shoulders stacked on top of wrists. We're going to take this back into a kick. As you bring it in, you extend that leg, point those toes, draw the belly button towards the spine, keep your neck long. Let's start firing up the glutes. You'll work at your own pace here. With each extension, lengthen a little bit more. Try to make sure that your hips don't rotate over to one direction. And it's only that one leg moving, not your torso. From here, you're going to hold it out and you're going to extend the opposite arm. You're going to place that behind your head. That helps with balance, but it also helps you keep your chest open. Let's lower and lift the extended leg. Point those toes. We're going to add on to this. So from here, I want you to crunch into an oblique. So curl up like a ball and then shoot it out. Curl it in again. Shoot it out. Open up the elbows as you shoot it out. Lengthen legs more as you shoot it out. You'll find that you're activating your shoulder blades, your shoulders getting a nice workout. Don't pull on that neck. It's just fingertips behind the head. It's just a guide and to help you with your balance. Let's go over onto the other side. Extend, point, lift. From here, you bring it in and you kick it out. So we're warming up here. Let's start firing up the glutes. Remember, if your back's starting to sway, it just means you need to draw that belly button in. You should be able to have a whole tray of drinks on your back and then not tip over. Hips are square. And every movement you make is to help open up those hips. So you're working from the hip socket. Keep that leg up high. The opposite arm goes behind the head, so fingertips supporting the head as you lower and lift. Only from my hips down is that leg moving. I'm not bending the knee. I'm not flexing and pointing the toe. Disconnect your core from your leg. When you're ready, you're going to go into oblique curls. So let's tuck it in like a ball, opposite elbow, opposite knee, and then shoot it out. Now, if you find there's a little bit too much weight on the wrist, shift your weight. Go down on your elbows if you like, or roll over the mat. But I'll show you that moving forward. So extend, shoot it out. Tuck it in, shoot it out. Reach, lengthen, breathe, and focus. This is a great mobility exercise right here. Release, bring it down, back into your quadruped, roll your mat over. So at this moment, my wrists are getting a little bit sore. I'm going to plant the palms of my fingers on the mat and my fingers on the floor. I'm back in my quadruped position, drawing my belly button in. I'm going to curl my toes under, and I'm going to start with the scapular presses. So my elbows are slightly bent, so soft. As I drop my chest to the mat and then I push the mat away. That's it. As I lower, I squeeze my scapula together. As I push it away, I open it. My elbows are drilled out. So drill your wrist into the mat, opening up your shoulder blades. From here, we're going to start to hover, and we call this the hover beast pose. Toes curled under, and I push the mat away as I slightly lift my knees off the mat, just high enough that I can glide a piece of paper underneath my knees. I'm going to hold it there in a static position. You hold it there for as long as you can, and then we're going to go straight into pulses. So hold your weight up. Work from your scapula, work your rhomboids, lengthen your spine, draw your belly button in. Well done. And when you're done, lower your knees down. By this stage, your core should be lit and your shoulders should be burning slightly, but in a completely good way. Lower it down and take it back into a child's pose. That last exercise, static beast, where we just hovered and held, is completely optional. You can go straight into your child's pose if you like. Okay, let's do round 2 of this. Curl the toes under. Draw that belly button in. And push that mat away so we're slightly hovering off the mat. From here, we're going to open and close our knees. This is round 2. Knees open and close. You'll feel a slight pull in your hips as we open. Now you go at your own pace. We're going to slow it down a little bit and we're going to hold and then we're going to close. So we're going to hold and we're going to close. The only way that you can stay up is if your core is engaged. Shift the weight back if there's too much weight on your wrist. When you're done, lower your knees and stretch back into a child's pose. Lengthen it out, push your armpits down to the ground, open up your hips, open up your knees and push right down. Okay, let's move on. Still in the quadraped position. We're going to do some overhead reach and pulls with the arm. So we're going to extend one arm in front and pull it behind. To the front and behind. A half circle, let's say. You need to control it. It's not a swing. You reach it forward and you pull it behind. Back nice and long. Hips stacked. Shift your weight back if you find that the supporting arm is copping a little bit too much weight, unnecessary weight. Let's take it over to the other side. Extend the arm out in front. Stretch out those fingers as you pull it forward and back. Reach it forward, pull it back. Hips are square. Nothing should be moving but your arm. From your shoulder girdle. Let's go. A few more here. Get the lengthening going. And slow it down. This is in prep for our next lot of exercises. Stack the arms so shoulders, elbows, wrists in alignment. We're going to go straight into a bird pose. So you'll lift one leg extended up, point that toe, and you'll extend the other arm, opposite leg. What you will do is you'll anchor yourself as you take that leg that's extended out to the side, ever so slightly. There's no need to go past your mat. Keep it steady. Use the hand in front of you that's lengthened out to stabilize you. Remember, we move from the hip socket. Let's take it over to the other side. Extend the leg, extend the opposite arm. Bird dog position. Now let's take that leg out to the side and bring it in. My arm that's extended isn't moving. You can see that I'm moving from my hip, nowhere else, not my waist. A few more of these. Draw in that belly button. Come on, engage that core. Pull it in. And when you're done, just stretch it out. Roll it left to right, right to left. Nice circular movements. Whatever makes you feel better, relieved. Release the tension. Let go of any anxiety that you kind of built up during any of those exercises prior. And let's just move on, shake it off. Let's go back into the bird dog position, opposite arm, opposite leg. This time, the arm goes out to the side and comes back. So reach it. This time you'll notice the leg is not moving at all. Everything is stable. Make sure you drop the hip so the hip is square. Hip and knees are stacked. Really pick up that core. And then lower. Let's do the other side really quickly. The other leg, opposite arm, full extension, bird dog position. Now bring it out to the side and bring it forward. That's it. I find this exercise quite revitalizing, empowering, to be able to hold still and only move one limb in a balanced position. So you should be really proud of yourself. When you finish that exercise, roll it out, and we're continuing in our quadraped position. Okay, let's go up. Restack, reposition, draw the belly button in, straight into that bird dog position. This time we're moving the arms and the legs out to the side and recentering. That's great. You'll probably find this a little bit easier than just doing your arm or your leg. Doing them both at the same time anchors you a little bit more, and they counterbalance each other. So bring it out. Don't bring it out too far. There's no need to. Last one, and when you're ready, bring it down. Over to the other side. Extend it out. Find your balance. Ground yourself. Now, if you find this too difficult, just do your leg or just do your arm. It's a gradual process. But this class is focused on core and hip, so really engage that core, light it up. Activate the glutes, light it up. And start moving your hips in all different directions. Bring it down, back onto your quadraped position. Curl your toes under, please. We're going to shoot up into a downward dog. And we go straight into calf raises or heel raises. So bring those heels up as high as you can. Come up on your tippy toes. Get your hips up nice and high. Lengthen your back. You'll start conditioning the shoulders. There's a fair bit of pressure on them right now. Really push those heels down, get that really nice stretch. And then slowly take a big step forward and roll it up. Now let's go into some deep squats. This is a great folding exercise. So my feet are turned out slightly. Make sure your knees and your toes are facing the same direction, just slightly outside your mat. From here, I'm going to bring my arms just in alignment to my head, or a continuation of my spine, like nice and long. And I'm going to sit back. Bring it down nice and deep, start folding and start reaching. Sit it back like you're sitting back on a chair. Squeeze your shoulder blades back as you stand up. Feel it in your quads. You'll definitely start feeling it in your hips. And hold it down there. And come up. Shake it out, reposition yourself. Restack your spine, draw that belly button in as you roll down into a seated cat cow position. So there's quite a few variations of cat cow. You can do it standing up, you can do it on all fours, you can do it in this position. It's just a really nice lengthening of the spine exercise. So pull it back, get that nice big C curvature, and then stack it up. Stack your spine. Curl it back. Stack it. You're really releasing any tension in the lower lumbar here by rolling it back and restack. This is prepping you for roll down, so hands out in front and peel it down bone by bone. Peel it up, try not to strain the neck. Use your hands as a guide. Reach it up overhead and peel it up as you reach forward. Anchor your feet. You will find at times your feet will lift. You can hold on to the back of your legs to help you start off with, but as your core gets stronger, you'll find that it's like a natural lever and it will pull you up effortlessly. You keep this going. You'll always hear me say that roll-ups is one of my favorite exercises because it's 30% more effective than a crunch. So draw that belly button in, dig it into the ground, and help it hinge you up. Let's open up the knees. Knees fall out to the side. And we're going to do a butterfly half roll down. Hands out in front. I reach forward, get that full lengthening of the spine. Then I slowly peel down only to the point where my lower lumbar hits the mat. So I reach forward. Lower portion of my back comes down onto the mat. And then I brace myself and then I come back up. So to lengthen, a really nice pull, lower it down and continue that. Keep those knees out nice and wide. And when you're ready, peel down completely. Hands above the head, sole to sole, so feet sole to sole, knees fall out. Draw the belly button in and close your legs and open them up. Get that really nice stretch in the inner thighs. Feel that in the hips. Your hips should be loving this at the moment. A few more of these and then we're going to add on. So anchor your shoulders. So as your knees continually open and close, you're going to peel your shoulder blades off the mat. So now there'll be no gap in the lower lumbar or your lower back region. Really light up the core as you do that. Hands by your side, extend both legs up to the ceiling. Anchor your shoulders, try not to push down on the mat too hard. We're going to do single leg scissors. So lower one leg as it hovers up above the mat. The other leg is extended to the ceiling. So you really want to find the lengthening here. Your core is stabilizing you. Bring that leg up and then lower the other nice and slowly. Hold it there. That leg that's lowering hovers just above the mat. And then bring it up. Hands behind your head, peel your shoulder blades off the mat. Let's do it again. Lower one leg towards the mat. The other leg is extended. You'll notice that when you lower one leg, the other leg wants to travel with it. The whole objective is to keep that other leg pointing up to the ceiling, keeping you stable. Now let's do something cool called air splits. So what happens is one leg goes up to the ceiling, the other one hovers on the mat, and then they tuck back in. So let's do the air splits, extend, and then tuck it back in into a perfect tabletop position. Extend. Don't touch the mat. Back into your tabletop. Shoot that leg up straight up to the ceiling. Get the full lengthening. And back into tabletop position. Now let's do that with your shoulders peeled off of the mat. And this is optional. You can keep your shoulders on the mat if you like. We're just creating a little bit more diversity. Working on your stability. Lighting up your core. But at the same time, working your hips, lengthening your hamstrings. Fantastic, well done. Lower your head back down and let's get into diamond crunches. So toe to toe, knees are out nice and wide. Hands behind your head as you peel up and you peel down. Try to keep those knees out wide, don't bring them in. We will add on. So let's do a double crunch here. Bring the knees and the elbows together. They tap and release. Tap and release. At the same time, the knees don't come in any closer, they're still nice and wide. Find your pace. Exhale as you crunch. Inhale as you come down. Now I want you to hold it there, hold that crunch, hold it, and then release. Hold, and then release. So really curl that up as you hold the tension there, and release. Keep your shoulders on the ground, and I want you to toe tap and heel tap. So toes kiss, heels kiss. Toes kiss, heels kiss. Keep the legs out nice and wide. It looks really easy, but to hold your knees out nice and wide at that height without moving, and your heels and your toes tapping, you'll find the burning in your calves here. So give me a few more of these. And when you're ready, fold it in and give yourself a nice stretch. Look, the fun doesn't stop here. Next, we have hundreds prep. So legs in a tabletop position, point those toes. Hands up to the ceiling. As we lower our hands down onto the mat, palm down, we extend our legs and then come back into a tabletop position and the hands face the ceiling. So like it's a simple curl. Try not to pull up on your neck. As you extend those feet, extend it up nice and high. As you push down to the ground, extend your fingers. Work from your shoulders. Keep that core engaged. Draw that belly button towards the spine. No gap in your back. You will hold it here, legs extended, and you will give me hundreds. Make sure your shoulders are peeled off the ground. If your neck gets sore, place your hands behind your head. If they're still sore, place your head onto the mat. Really brace your core here. If you want to bend your knees and place your feet on the mat while you pump, that's another alternative. But I need you to breathe, so each time you pump, it's an exhale. You have many variations of this. I'm going to flex my feet and point. I'm going to extend my fingers further. I'm going to peel up higher. I'm going to reach further. I'm going to point harder. I'm going to flex harder. I'm going to extend my legs more. Keep it going. You can bring your knees into the tabletop and keep your hundreds going if you like as well. Bring the knees into the chest, just rock it out really quickly. And we're going into high bridge. Now, I really enjoy this exercise because there's no strain on my lower back. And for people that aren't so keen on squats, this is a great exercise for you. So I come up on my tippy toes. I shoot my hips up to the ceiling into a perfect bridge position, so a perfect diagonal. I'm not using my hands to lift me up. I'm engaging my glutes. My hamstrings are starting to light up, but I can still see my knees, so I'm not coming up too high. I feel a really nice stretch in my back as I do that, and I also feel my hips opening up. Knees are pointing up to the ceiling. Heels are nice and high. Then I'd like you to hold it up there and give me some heel raises. Heels hit the ground, then they come off. Keep it going nice and steady. Get up as high as you can. If you're not happy with that exercise, just either stay on your toes and start pulsing, or drop your heels down. And join me when you're ready. Now, heels up high in that perfect bridge position. I'm going to add a little bit of difficulty to it and raise my arms up to the ceiling. When I'm there, my shoulders will anchor me and I'm pulsing. Pulse from your hips, light up the glutes. Hold it up and then slowly peel it down. Well done. We're going to bring one knee into the chest, and I want you to really pull that in. I want you to extend the other leg so it's just on the floor. The most important thing here is to draw that knee towards the chest as you lift and lower the other leg. The other leg does not touch the ground, it just hovers above the mat. I'm not kicking, I'm lifting. I'm working from my hip. I'm trying to bring that leg up as high as I can, and this will depend on how flexible you are. But so I don't rock, I really need to draw that bent knee as close as I can to my chest. Let's change it over. Extend the other leg. Lower and lift. Pull that knee into the chest. Pull it in harder. Point both toes more. Make sure that foot doesn't touch the ground and you use that core muscle to break and to help you lift, to help you break, and then to help you lift. That's it. Neck nice and long. Breathe your way through this. Work at your own pace. Stop and rest whenever you need to and pick it up whenever you're ready. Bring both knees into the chest, please. And let's start with hip circles. So one leg bent, the other leg facing the ceiling. Hands by your side as you're anchored by your shoulders. We're going to draw some circles in the ceiling. So the size of a basketball. Point your toes, visualize that circle. Remember, you're moving from your hip, not your ankles. Keep it fluid. Pretend your leg is one long pencil. When you've done about 10, go in the opposite direction. I don't mind if your circles are small, but just as long as we're moving that hip socket in a 360 rotation. Great, let's change it over. Bring both legs up to the ceiling, the other leg down on the ground, point those toes, anchor your shoulders, draw your belly button in, and let's start drawing those circles in the ceiling. For you to do this comfortably, your core needs to be engaged. You may also feel that your hips crack. Just take it easy. It's just that we're sitting way too much. Our hips move in a 360 rotation. So my motto is, you don't use it, you will lose it. Good job. This one's not an easy one either. The advanced version is if you were to extend the bent knee and continue with your circles, but that's for a different class. Bring that knee in, both on the mat. And shake it out if you need to. Recompose yourself. Now, feet in tabletop position. Knees and hips are stacked. Hands by your side. You want to extend one leg and bring it back into a tabletop. After everything that we've done, this should feel like a relief. Pull your shoulders off the mat if you like. This is optional. It just helps with the gap in the lower back. So draw your belly button towards your spine. Keep this movement smooth and fluid. As you extend, lengthen that leg. Full control. Just a few more of these. Trust me, your hips are loving these exercises. Your core is screaming out for more. Trust me. It may not feel it like that now, but in the next couple of days, you're going to crave it. Now, single tabletop curl. One knee bent, the other one extended as I peel up. Now the trick with this is you actually have to come up so your hands can tap. The leg that's in the tabletop position needs to stay still. It does not move. The leg on the ground anchors you. Your core is doing all the work here. Take it over to the other side. One leg in tabletop, the other one's extended. Let's go. Curl it up and tap if you can. Or come up as high as you can. But keep that leg that's in tabletop as still as possible. The knee and the hip need to stay stacked. You can do this. Push through this. Your core is going to start to light up. Lean forward in the face of challenge. So you're almost there. When you're done, both feet into tabletop. Extend both legs to the ceiling. And we're going to lower both legs down towards the mat. Now I've got my shoulders peeled off the mat. It's completely up to you. You might decide that you want to keep your head on the mat, or you may decide that you want to place your hand underneath your lower lumbar. Here you lower, you give me a V, and then you bring it back up. So lower, give me a V, bring your feet together, then bring it up. Again, lower, open, close, and lift. Hinge, open, close, and lift. Engage, lower, open, and lift. Again. Well done. This one's not easy. From here you go into a scissor stretch. So holding on to the calf of one leg as the other one extends out. It's a really nice stretch of the back of the legs. A really nice break from our hip exercises. So stretch and lengthen. Curl yourself up, shoulder blades off the mat. Breathe your way through this because you're on your home stretch. Pull that leg in a little bit more. Get the full benefit of that stretch. Legs together, point those toes. Let's bend them and lower them onto the ground, please. From here, my knees are stacked and I'm just dropping them over to one side, so I'm giving myself a nice spinal stretch. And we need it. As your knees lower, your whole body does not follow your knees. It's almost like you're wringing out a wet towel. Your shoulders stay on the ground and your neck's nice and long. Beautiful. roll it up, stack the spine, roll it back, lengthen, pull those shoulders back, palm to palm. Give gratitude, recompose, find your inner balance. You conquered a workout. You kept it fluid, you kept it purposeful, you had direction, and now you can continue your day. Curl your toes under, hang, draw your forward towards your knee if you can, knees slightly bent, peel it up, shake it out, and I look forward to seeing you in my next class. Thank you for joining.